Welcome back to Pillah Sports. Today we are here talking about the Arsenal versus Manchester United game. Now this is against the narrative because here we talk about sports and we talk about all the things that people expected and how we see it here on Pillah Sports. We are going to be cracking down on the things that we saw pre-game, post-game and during the game, and we are going to be bringing you the best analysis, the best conversation starters that you absolutely need. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, shout out to you. You guys can see me. If you're watching this on wherever you're watching your TikTok, a podcast, or you listen to your podcast, how are you doing? I hope my voice is sounding really nice and you guys can enjoy this while you're riding to work and every single thing. So make sure you guys turn up your notification, hit that button, hit that subscribe button, because this is Against the Narrative, episode 1, and it's Manchester United versus Arsenal, and that's what we are talking about. Let's go. So first things first, pre-match narrative. What were we hearing? Going into this match, the football world largely agreed on three things, and everybody can absolutely say this. You get me? Arsenal is system, cohesion, and control. They are going to defeat Manchester United. Manchester United was inconsistent, reactive, transitional. Can we all agree with that? And then we look at the Emirates, hostile, dominant at home environment. We all understood this, but the key part that people did not see about the Emirates is that the Emirates gets really nervous when they are not comfortable. Unlike Anfield, unlike Manchester United, Old Trafford, where when Manchester United are 1-0 up, Old Trafford is jumping and you can feel the aura of the place going ham. However, at the Emirates, if they are 1-0, they are so nervous, feeling that they are going to bottle that lid, that the nervousness transfers from the 12 men to the 11 players on the pitch, and that right there is where the problem lies. And that right there is the absolute issue that we are absolutely going to be talking about today. The assumption of this game was simple. If Arsenal controlled the ball, United would eventually crack. That was the assumption. That assumption is exactly what this game exposed as lazy analysis. Because everybody could think about it. Everybody could see it. But when you look at what Michael Carrick did against Manchester City, it should have given you a cause to be cautious. A cause to be cautious about what he can do against Arsenal's side. And against a side that he has watched for months upon months while he was not in a job. Why he was not preparing for Fulham, why he was not preparing for Aston Villa or Sunderland or whatever team that Ruben Amorim was preparing for. He was absolutely ready to face Arsenal, and that was the key part of things. But the real context, which a lot of people ignored, is what we are here to tell you. Manchester United came in with clarity. There was some clarity that you guys did not even, a lot of people did not see, a lot of people did not understand, a lot of people did not agree to acknowledge. And that right there was the key part of this situation. Because Manchester United, this wasn't United side trying to out Arsenal. It wasn't that. This was a United side that understood three basic things that was absolutely crucial. Where Arsenal were the strongest, where they were vulnerable, and how to weaponize those vulnerabilities. That was the key part of what Manchester United was doing. If we understood that, and if we could take that and actually utilize it for what we wanted to do, we absolutely won this race. And that is what Manchester United did moving forward. This game wasn't about possession to Manchester United. Michael Carrick loves the possession game, but it wasn't about possession. It was about control of space, timing, and moment. And Manchester United executed those three things to perfection. Now, because this is a podcast, I'm not going to go deep and show you graphics about the space and things like that. If you want to watch that, we are going to have it in the channel. So make sure you guys go there and check it on. But this is us just talking about it so we can have a conversation and just understand what Manchester United did well and where Arsenal just refused to acknowledge Manchester United's play. Let me put it at that. They just refuse to acknowledge Manchester United's play. And when they have refused to acknowledge that, we then realized and we then saw the beauty of Manchester United moving forward. And that is the key part of what we realized today. You understand? Now let's go into the tactical session, just so we can break down things a little bit so people could understand. Because of course what we do here on Pillah Sports is making it that everybody knows the way that we are going to go about it. The important situation about this is not for us to just read the stats to you. It's not for us to read the stats to you. We need to frame it so people would understand. The surface start that everybody would be able to see is that Arsenal dominated possession. But the start that people would not be able to see is Man United, the way we were able to utilize the ball utilize the space without the ball was absolutely crucial to us winning this game. United had significantly less of the ball. I understand it, but the truth about it is that possession sometimes does not mean control of the game. That's the key word. There's a reason why Mikel Arteta was so livid that he took out 4 players in the 57th minute, because he did not have control of the game. He did not have control of the moment. He did not have control of the pendulum, because once it goes Arsenal's side, he swung back so hard and so far on Manchester United's side that Manchester United had opportunities upon opportunities, and that was a problem for him. Because Man United controlled the central zones. The likes of, Martin Odegaard did not play well whatsoever. So that whole conversation that we get between Bruno Fernandes and Martin Odegaard, let's end it right now. Because Bruno Fernandes is definitely better, far better than Martin Odegaard will ever be in this situation. 2, we control the transitional moments. We control the transitional moments, and because we control the transitional moments, the game state swung our way more often than it swung Arsenal's way, even though Arsenal had the possession. Because you can have possession all game, but what you do with the possession, are you intentional with the possession, or you are just keeping it moving? If you're keeping it moving, that's fine, because the opponent gets the ball and all he wants to do is, how can we quickly get to their opposition box and get a shot off? Now those people are the ones controlling the game, because Arsenal circulated the ball well but did not do much of anything with it. You understand? Much of it was outside Manchester United's box, and that right there was a problem. Penetrations came in bursts and not waves. You saw a penetration from Bukayo Saka, and you never saw anything from the other side from Trossard. You saw a penetration from Gabriel Jesus, and you never saw anything from Martin Odegaard. You saw something from Declan Rice, but never saw anything from Zubimendi. Those are the things that were problematic for Arsenal. But where Man United were happy was to let Arsenal have safe possession. Have the possession where we did not need to be scared about where the ball was going to in behind us. We saw the ball moving in front of us. In fact, the first goal for Arsenal is a great example of that, because the ball was passed into Gabriel Jesus in the pocket. Gabriel Jesus has about 5 feet from the next Manchester United player. He could turn and pass the ball to Jurrien Timber. Jurrien Timber passed the ball to Hincapié, and that is an easier chance for us to lose a goal. However, he gave a bounce pass right back to where the ball came. The safe pass, the pass that Harry Maguire wanted, the pass that Harry Maguire and Martinez would be relying on when they are not touch tight to the striker. Those are the things that absolutely, I believe that Mikel Arteta will be showing them right now when we are talking about the film room. He will be showing them you had space, you could turn around and be positive about it instead of you being negative and going backwards, giving Manchester United the opportunity to reset, get their position tighter, get the situation tight, and then start building forward. That is what Manchester United did. Arsenal had the ball. United had the plan, and that was the key part about the game, and that was why Manchester United won the game. Crystal clear, in my opinion. Crystal clear in my opinion. But the second thing that Manchester United did that was absolutely clever in this situation was that the defensive structure was truly masterminded by Manchester United. Why Man United defense did not collapse was crucial about this game. Because everybody expected Arsenal were going to control the ball, Arsenal were going to have the ball, because that is what they did to Inter. And Inter is known for their defense. They did this to Inter in the Champions League, and the truth about it is that Inter crumbled. But the key part about this was Manchester United have very young players, and they have the pace to control the defense. They have the pace to stay in line. They have the leaders in that back line to honestly, if you don't push them with pace in behind, they can sit in front of the goalkeeper all day and you wouldn't score. That is the key part, because it was the shape and the discipline of Manchester United defense. Manchester United defended in a compact mid-block. And what do I mean compact mid-block? Which is not a desperate low block, might I add, because a lot of people can say, oh, no, it's a low block. We played a low block. We brought back, or we turned back the times to Jose Mourinho. No, it was a compact mid-block, because that compact mid-block was a mid-block where both wingers would come back and sit between the lines. They would try and double up when it comes to defending the winger. So when Bukayo Saka swung the ball, when Arsenal swung the ball to Bukayo Saka, Luke Shaw ran, closed down that space, and then you saw Patrick Dogu on Luke Shaw's arm, Luke Shaw's peripheral, just in case Bukayo Saka wants to cut in behind. And then you also saw that if Bukayo Saka wanted to go to the far post, to the back line and cross the ball, Luke Shaw also followed. So it was a situation where we absolutely wanted Arsenal to play the way they played, and we made them play the way they played. Because the key details to highlight in this situation was the distances between the back line and the midfield stayed really tight. That's what I was telling you about Luke Shaw, the back line, and Patrick Dogu, the midfield line, which is basically Patrick Dogu, Kobe Mainoo, Casemiro, and Amad Diallo. That was our midfield line. Because when we were without the ball, we played in a 4-4-2 situation, which made it very compact and very tight for us to allow any balls in. The wide areas were shown deliberately, not conceded accidentally. We gave them the wide areas. We wanted them to swing the ball to the left, swing the ball to the right. We all knew that when the ball came to the right-hand side where Bukayo Saka was, that was Arsenal's biggest threat. And what did we do? We absolutely played it right, because that is where our engine in Patrick Dogu is. Patrick Dogu can keep on running for 90 minutes straight without any problem and without any slowing of burst of pace. And that was the key part, because people forget that Patrick Dogu is still a winger, is still a fullback. So you're talking about playing two fullbacks against Bukayo Saka. Come on now, we were going to win that game. We were going to win that race every time. Central access was constantly delayed. So whenever the ball was about, they tried to pass the ball to Odegaard, there was somebody that stepped up to stop Odegaard, that went touch tight to Odegaard. Make sure that the ball was recycled back. Make sure that the ball was recycled to the side. Make sure that the ball could either go above us, where Sonny Lemons is crucial and quick enough to go and get that ball, or it was recycled back, or we got the ball and then we hit them on the counter, or hit the ball and we got the ball and then we started building, moving forward. Those are the key things that we were talking about in this situation. So why does this matter? Because all these things I've explained, we need to know, why does it matter? You get me? Why it matters is that in previous seasons, United dropped way too deep. We dropped way too deep where Arsenal were literally camping on our 18-yard box. In fact, in our 18-yard box. And then we just decided we are not doing that anymore. Second thing that we did last season that was a problem for us was that we defended the box instead of the build-up. You get me? We defended the box instead of the build-up. And why? What does that mean personally? Because Arsenal are building up in this situation. They are known to, this is the crackdown we are going to do. We are going to go left. We are going to go right. We are going to play it in a certain angle. The truth about it is that Mikel Arteta does not let his players have the freedom or the creativity. I want you guys to know that. He even is so detailed in the way he coaches that he tells them about how to pass and what angle is the best kind of pass. Now, sometimes that is great because Arsenal are top of the league for a reason. But some other times, it is also a bad thing because you do not give them the creativity. So if we can study how you guys build up, then it is easier to stop the build up. It is easier to stop the threat from happening before it happens. It is easier for us to get the ball and get the clean sheet on you. That is the key part about what we are saying here. And it's absolutely crucial for this situation. It is crucial. And that right there is what Michael Carrick got right. Because last season, we invited pressure. Sustained pressure, might I add. We just kept on inviting pressure as if our name is Precious. We just kept on inviting it. We never had any opportunity to say, yo, relax. Pause a little. Relax. Let's give ourselves a relief. Because even in the second half, after Manchester United were 2-0 up, or 2-1 up, we brought on Matheus Cunha and Benjamin Sesko. And that right there are called pressure relievers. They are also really good at playing football, but one thing was for sure, the ball was not sticking when Brian Mbeumo was there. We would play the ball towards Patrick Dogu because Patrick Dogu had the leap, had the strength, and it was tall enough to get the ball, not the ball down for Brian Mbeumo. But when Brian Mbeumo was up front, Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes got all they wanted when it comes to the duels. But when we bring on our 6'5" behemoth of a player, then the ball starts to stick. Then we have a pressure reliever in the game. And then when you look at Matheus Cunha, that draws 2-3 players to himself and still able to rigmarole himself out of that situation, that right there also is a pressure reliever. And yes, it turned out that substitution was spot on, was the perfect way for us to do it. And that right there is why Michael Carrick deserves a lot of credit in this situation. Because this was the calmest I've ever seen Manchester United defend sustained pressure in years. In years, guys. In years, bro. This is the first time we have seen sustained pressure and we withstand it. We absolutely defend it without losing our heads. And that right there has to go with Michael Carrick, the Woodgate guy that came into our defensive structure. It is credit to Michael Carrick and his team about how we were able to win this game today. The defense was absolutely crucial. Now we go into the transition football, but make it intelligent for the most part. Because what we were able to do in this situation was truly remarkable. It was truly remarkable. This is where the narrative really needs correcting in my mind. It really needs correcting in my mind because people say United just countered a game. That was absolutely lazy. That narrative there is just lazy. Because the way I see it, right, the way Manchester United actually did this game was we waited for specific triggers. We waited for specific triggers, and when we got those triggers, we were absolutely lethal in that situation. Poor Arsenal, rest defense, fullbacks high, midfield stretched, and we absolutely countered in that situation. We absolutely pressed. We absolutely went tiki-taka, Bruno Meno, Cunha. And we got our opportunities and we put them away. We put them away. First pass forward was decisive, not hopeful. We got the ball, we hit the ball pass. We were not just hitting the ball forward, thinking that there's somebody up there waiting to get the ball. Because when we start doing that, what happens is that the ball comes right back and sustains the pressure. And that right there, we don't want it. That right there is problematic. That right there is a problem for us to face. You get me? It's a problem for us to face, and we don't want that. That is why the decisive pass for us to build fast, for us to have the ball while we are going up the pitch was absolutely crucial in the way we played the game. It was crucial. The runners attacked the spaces, not zones already occupied, because those are the key things. Last season, we would find our players hiding. This season, they are requesting the ball in space, into space, so they can attack. And those are the key things. Guys, pardon me, let me drink some water. Or should I say, it's no tears. So those are the key things that we needed to do, and we did it. We needed to do them, and we absolutely did it. Those are the crucial parts of his situation. Crucial. And the things that we need to talk about without even overstating it, right, is that we controlled the chaos. The chaos that Arsenal wanted to do, especially the likes or the conversation about Sonny Lemons. Sonny Lemons battle. Sonny Lemons went into what? Sonny Lemons was at war with Arsenal yesterday. He was fighting every time they had a corner. Sonny Lemons was absolutely fighting 11 players. And I say 11 players because it felt like Arsenal had 18 of them in the pitch yesterday when it came to corners. Because it was just pure chaos in that situation. And my God, they might just have been a better Stoke City when it comes to corner kicks. In fact, you saw Ahmad absolutely making fun. He's like, calm down. All you guys have is corner kicks. Calma. And that is the truth. Mikel Arteta does not let his creative players like Eze to have the ball, to have the shine, to absolutely be able to move forward. He doesn't let them do that. All he wants is get the ball to a corner kick position, give us corners, and let the man actually come forward. By the way, just so you guys know, this might be a prediction and this might be a weird prediction, but this set piece coach for Arsenal might be the next Arsenal coach if you guys don't take time. Because what you might see in this situation is that if Arsenal don't win the league this year, don't win Champions League, or don't win the League Cup, I believe Mikel Arteta will leave Arsenal. He might not get fired, but he might leave Arsenal. And what did Brentford do? Promote from inside. And Brentford are doing so well this season. So well, in fact, they were doing better than under Thomas Frank. They might just promote in-house, and your set-piece coach might be the new head coach. Who knows? Because the truth about it is that Arsenal loves the whole set-piece. That's Arsenal's game. And because they're so good at it, they score a lot of them. I think it's 23 goals from set-piece this season. That's immense. That is ridiculously good. That is insanely good. You understand? But the key part about it is that the higher shot quality, despite fewer shots, that's it. Fewer touches in attacking move. That's it. Move direct entries into the box per possession sequence. That is it. United did not attack often, but when they attacked correctly. They moved well, they moved the right way, they moved in the way they should. It wasn't a situation where they had to figure out the craziness that could be happening. No, they went right. They did their things right, and they attacked the way they should have attacked. And they won the game by that situation. But that's not just all, because we have to also talk about the game management, the game state management. This is something elite teams do, and this is something Michael Carrick, with his substitutions, absolutely did, because the instructions to Matheus Cunha was absolutely clear. You get the ball, you drag the ball, you run with the ball, you get into spaces where you get fouled, and you eat up the time. We saw it time and time again with Matheus Cunha, especially after his third goal. We saw it, and it was crucial. Same thing with Benjamin Šeško. By the way, I hope Benjamin Šeško is okay, because that ball that they hit on his face, half of his face turned red. And he was down, shaking his head for a minute. But we all know what that feels like. You got your brain shaken for sure. But he was able to keep on playing. He was able to do the job that we wanted. He was able to be that relief for Manchester United and Arsenal's pressure. And that was a key thing for us. Because Manchester United, one of the most underrated parts of this performance for us was how we were able to slow down the game when Arsenal built the momentum. That was one of the most underrated things that we were able to do. How we were able to take fouls in smart areas. I told you, Matheus Cunha. How we were able to reset the shape instead of chasing the ball emotionally. I told you, Matheus Cunha. One of the key things that I would say that I noticed in that game, that Bruno literally let his exuberance or his hubris get the best out of him was when he shot the ball from midfield. We were on a counter. We got an opportunity where it was literally two players. David Raya was out of his position. Same thing that he got against Liverpool, where he got the ball from Kwanzaa and he was able to lob the goalkeeper. He did that in that situation when Bruno should have just taken the ball and ran the ball the length of the pitch, eating up more time. Because him shooting that ball that way, what I gave was the ball to Gyökeres for that opportunity. Those are little things, little decision makings in a game could make or break a game. That is why we need to do better in that situation. We have a long way to go in terms of growing, but those key things are things that we need to absolutely clean out of our game. You understand? We need to clean it up. The difference between a team surviving, a team managing is right here. It's the game state. It's the game state management. If we are able to do that, if we can manage the game a little bit better, those things will absolutely work out well for what we are trying to do. But let's ask yourself, let's look at what we need to do. At what point did Arsenal look rushed? Because Arsenal did not look like they wanted to win this game at all. They did not look like they had the angle to, or they want to win the game against Man United. They felt shell-shocked that Manchester United were a better team than they thought. And that was absolutely what, in my mind, made it better for us. It made it better for us and us as in Manchester United. Because United dictating the psychology and not tactics in this situation made us win this game comfortably. And yes, you could say it was not comfortable. We won by one shot from Cunha in the end of the 90 minutes. No, shouldn't even have gotten the 2 goals that they got. Because you can talk about that the goal that Martinez got in terms of the own goal. He was being wrapped up by Timber. And you can say, oh yes, but Martinez was also wrapping up Timber. The key part about it is that those kinds of 50-50 go to the people that had the worst luck from that situation. So we got the goal, we got an own goal. We should have gotten a free kick. You get me? Because the physicality or the aggression was done first by Timber. And that is why that first goal shouldn't have counted. The second goal, of course, was such a willy-nilly goal that if they had actually looked very closely into the way Arsenal played their set pieces, I don't think Arsenal would be having 23 goals from set pieces, because they hit the goalkeepers from the back. They make sure that the goalkeeper's hand is down and he's not able to go up. But I have to talk about Sonny Lemens. Sonny Lemens was brilliant in the way he was able to keep hold of the game in set pieces. It was brilliant. It was. And I'm going to talk about him in a video specifically for him per se. You understand? But the key part about this is that the mentality shift that we saw for Manchester United was such a good one, because this is an invisible start. Nobody is able to put their hand and say, this is what the mentality is. Nobody can do that. But what we were able to see is that this game had its moments where Arsenal expected to find United that would fold. But we didn't. We sure didn't. United showed up, and while they were showing up, they were calm in possession under pressure. When they did not have the ball, they were calm. When they had the ball, they were calm. That is the way Kobbie Mainoo, and that is the influence of Kobbie Mainoo in Manchester United. The willingness to recycle the ball instead of literally forcing plays and forcing the long pass and forcing the long pass. The willingness to recycle the ball is what Manchester United also showed today. And it's on my notes right here. I wrote it down so many times. We had the opportunity to run, but we saw that they have closed them down. We closed that particular space down. We recycled it. We recycled it, brought it back, and started building again from the back. Those are the key things that we were able to see in this game. You understand? The leaders started demanding more, demanding composure, demanding, not just demanding that, they also demanded intensity, and understand that we need to calm. We understand that we need to bring the tempo down and play in our sense, play in our space, play in our minds, play between each other, so Arsenal can absolutely just go run ragged. And we successfully did that to Arsenal, and I'm so happy about that. This is where you lean in this situation. You get me? United wasn't fighting the game. This was United understanding it for the key part. I know that might sound cliche, but we just understood how to beat Arsenal. And that is the way we won the game. That is the way we won the game. To be honest with you, that is truly the way we won the game. The game was not perfect. I would say that. The game was not perfect for against the narrative because casual fans saw chaos. Analysts saw possession and stats. You get. The part about this situation is that Manchester United needs to continue this trajectory. They need to go with intent. They need to go with choosing territory more than sometimes penetration. They need to go with shot quality more than volume. They need to go with chances better than possession. Sometimes all this situation is all about picking the right intent for the right game. And if we can get this right, Michael Carrick might just be in a job longer than May. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Welcome to Against the Narrative, and make sure you guys absolutely hit that like button, hit the follow button. If you guys are watching from anywhere, thank you very much for listening to us for this while, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys turn on your notifications so you do not miss out on anything that we do here on Pillah Sports. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.